a client we interviewed, talked a little bit about how wonderful life is now in his comfortable morning routine that starts with sharing a pot of coffee with his roommate. It sounds like a small thing, an existence without the safety of a home or the security of knowing where his next meal would come from, to waking up in his own comfortable bed and sharing a moment of peace and community with a friend is a gift from him, for him. It reminded me of previous clients sharing with us how meaningful these little moments can be, from changing the sheets on their first real bed to attending one of TR's social groups. These habits and routines shape our days. And it also reminded me how lucky I am to have the safety and security in which I can build my own meaningful habits. And of course, I'm so happy you're here with us. I'm looking forward to the day when we can all...
I'm the president of TR's board of directors. So before we get started today, I'd like to thank Credit Union, our presenting sponsor, for helping make this event possible and also to make your impact go further. We also want to thank our friends at Cafe Ladro. There is a coupon for a discounted beverage and a free cookie if you visit their West Seattle or their help putting on a safe event. We have our guest speaker, Micha Goebig, a morning person, so I'm looking forward to learning some tips on how I can start each day off right. So now I want to share a little roadmap of the rest of our time together this morning. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of information about transitional resources and how and why you can support our important work. Then I'll hand over to Micha to give our morning routines a makeover. After that, we'll hear a TR client story and learn what stability, support and routine have made possible in her life. Lastly, exciting new beginnings here at TR. So most importantly, I want to say thank you to all of you for being here and your patience with our technical to spread the word to those living further afield. I know we have people logging on in other states and even some on the other side of the pond, so shout out to my mum and dad. TR is such a special organisation and it feels really great to celebrate that and spread the word to such a broad community, far beyond King County. Throughout the event, please feel free to make use of the chat feature to share your thoughts and questions and send out reminders throughout the broadcast. Today, as you know, we are celebrating fresh starts, from the start of a new day to the beginning of a journey to recovery. If you don't know Transitional Resources yet, we're all about helping people have fresh starts. We serve our neighbours in King County who are living with serious mental illness. We provide a spectrum of mental health services, permanent affordable housing, and a community of support. By being with us this morning, you're already part of that special community. So thank you for being here. Today, we'll be displaying the ways in which you can make a gift to support our work, and we'll also be posting the links in the chat. We rely on donations to make our work possible. Public funding, a few of the essential costs that you help TR cover. Staffing our amazing, hard-working treatment teams who provide case management even when times get tough. Unexpected costs, like the many adaptations we've had to make due to COVID, so we make sure that folks never lose that access to care. And finally, growing our impact in the community, like helping us gear up for our new Yancy Street project, which will be opening later on this year, and I'll tell you a bit more about that later on. Your support makes all of these things possible, so we can continue to provide new beginnings to people in need. There are a few ways you can donate to our work today. If you'd like to give via GivePig Washington and make use of the matching pool, then please visit www.givebig.org/transitional-resources. And that link is active until midnight tomorrow, May 5th. If you're viewing this on a delay or you just prefer to give via our regular site, you can always make a gift by visiting transitionalresources.org and clicking the big Donate Now button. And again, we'll be displaying this information at various times throughout the program today, and the links are in the chat. So now I have the great pleasure of handing things over to Micha. Micha is here today to help us make some fresh starts of our own by giving us the building blocks to create intentional habits in our mornings. In your digital goodie bag, you'll find some worksheets to help you make this your own, as well as a downloadable workbook that Micha has provided to all of our guests. So Micha, thanks again for joining us today. Take it away.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome to Making a Fresh Start. We'll be talking a bit about habits and especially about building habits in a way to make them stick. To help you get it right, I'm sharing a couple of tips and tricks with you that can make introducing new habits much easier. But first, let's rewind and look at a couple of hours ago, or for those of you watching the replay, at this morning. How did you start your day? Do you have a morning routine that makes the first part of your day a pleasant experience? Or do you sleep to the last possible moment and are rushing to catch up from there? No judgment if your answer is the latter. That used to be me as well. But a few years ago, I heard and read so much about the benefits of a morning ritual that I decided to try it out for myself. And I've never gone back to my old ways. In fact, I even get up earlier these days to have more time for it. So what do I do for a morning ritual? Well, it's a ritual, so it's pretty much always the same. I get up, put on the electric kettle for my pour-over, and while the water is heating up, I sit down for a brief morning meditation, usually not more than 5 or 10 minutes, 15 max. Then I grind my beans and make my coffee and sit down to journal, 2 pages. I write about whatever comes to mind, but the moment the second page is filled, I drop my pen. That's the clue for my dog to get excited because next is her walk. Altogether, that's about an hour or 90 minutes. You may be wondering when I'm checking emails or social media or reading the news. I don't look at my computer before I'm done with all this, and I don't have any social media apps or work emails on my phone to keep the temptation to a minimum. The only thing I see on my phone is messages from my team, some of which are in Europe, and if they need me before 8 a.m., they'll let me know. Other than that, 8 a.m. is when I see what's new. The system works so well for me because it provides me with a sense of calm and control in the morning. Despite the fact that half my clients are 9 hours ahead of me, I no longer feel that I'm desperately trying to catch up. You may need other elements in a morning routine to receive the same benefits, but it's absolutely possible for everybody. If you keep an open mind and ask yourself, what do I want my morning to look like? Give yourself time to develop your vision of a calm, controlled, connected morning without going straight to, oh, this won't work. If you want it and you know why, you will be able to create it step by step. Most of you probably either have the experience or the idea that establishing habits like a morning ritual is a good thing. And you are absolutely right. Science fully supports this view. But what is it exactly that makes healthy habits so important? Want to contemplate every morning what we may want to do in the bathroom or in which order any significant benefit. So this is where the habit comes in. And when I say habit, I'm talking about a combination of 3 steps: cue, behavior, and reward. For instance, cue, step into the bathroom. Behavior, take a shower and brush your teeth. The freedom of structure. The more structured my day is in the areas that are not my passion and that don't require my creativity, the more I free myself up to apply my creativity to the things that really matter. For instance, in the morning, I don't want to think about how to start my day. That's why I follow the same ritual every morning. There are many, many different habits you can build that may serve the purpose of freeing you up for the things by automating mundane tasks. Another amazing benefits of habits are that they take a lot of anxiety away. For me, like for many other people, healthy habits tend to ground me. So they are an important element of a mental health regimen. As James Clear says, the author of Atomic Habits, which is my favorite book on the topic, the quality of our lives depends on the quality of our habits. That sounds pretty big, but think about it. We are, to a large extent, what we do. And this can make habits more relevant than goals, namely a ticket to be who we want to be, become who we want to become. But who is this person, our future self, our best self? When it comes to habit building, it's really helpful to start with questions instead of assumptions. Questions like, is this really something for which I want to make room in my life? Why does it matter to me? Or is it a should goal, something I feel obliged to do for my family maybe, or because everybody says it's good for you? Those should goals are way harder to turn into habits than anything that really, truly matters to you. If this were not the case, there would be 0 smokers in the world, and we would all eat tons of veggies and exercise every day. So an important step in setting you up for success is being very honest about the reward your old habit offers versus the reward your new habit may offer. For instance, if you want to install a morning ritual, you may have to get up earlier. So you may have to go to bed earlier too to get enough sleep. If that's the hour or 2 you use to catch up with your friends or watch your favorite show, that may feel like a tough trade-off. So you want to be aware of this beforehand and, for instance, find another time of day to do these things. Or you really need to feel that less stress and anxiety in the morning is worth this change of habits. Fact is, if we want to install a new habit, we have to be very clear on what we're giving up and what's the price we're willing to pay. That's the kind of question you'll want to contemplate before really getting into the habit building or habit changing. Another tip I'd like to give you for this early habit planning process: also be honest about what your usual day, your usual week looks like. Not the ideal day, ideal week, ideal life. Even under current conditions, where lots of us may be still working from home. If your typical day changes, you can reevaluate. But for the time being, plan with what you've got. Because how often do you have an ideal day? Me? Close to never. There's always something, right? This average day instead of ideal day planning is so important because if you cannot make a new habit fit into a regular day or week, you may not yet be able or willing to make space for it in your life. If it only fits your ideal scenario, it's not your ideal habit, that's for sure. The next thing I would suggest is habit stacking. I call it the secret sauce of habit building. Science shows that, as a rule, habits are easier to build in the morning, or depending on your schedule, your first few hours of the day. A simple example of habit stacking is flossing your teeth after you brush them, or turning the coffee maker on when you get out of the shower, or in my case, meditating while my electric kettle is doing its job. That's how I managed to make meditation a regular morning habit, because I would not miss my pour-over for anything. And there's a time delay between me putting on the kettle and being able to make my coffee. So that turned out to be the perfect slot for me to habit stack meditation. Another example would be folding the laundry while watching your favorite show, or only watching your show while you're on the treadmill. Those are habit stack taking your medication. Or if you have a beloved pet that needs medication, you'll probably never forget giving it to them. So why not put it next to yours, so every time you give the medication to your cat and dog, you take yours as well. These are just examples. You are the expert on you. You know how to make this easy. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to make building a new habit the maximum challenge. Quite the contrary. Keep your maximum challenge for the gym or hiking or whatever else. Habit building is something you will want to make as easy as possible. That's the main guideline. Another thing in this context, I want to invite you to think outside of the box. For instance, we all know that we should floss our teeth at night, but many of us don't. So why not experiment around with it and, let's say, flossing your teeth in the morning or after lunch? It may not be perfect, but done is way better than perfect. Another way to make your new habit stick is enjoying the process. Maybe you like a challenge, or you have fun playing games, or doing something with others on the same path. So think about it. Can you make the habit you want to build a bit of fun, or even a lot of fun? How? Can you make it more fun by joining forces with a friend, a coworker, your partner? Can you get your family involved? Can you do it all together? Can you have a little leadership board, friendly competition? Or would it motivate you to have a little calendar where you X out the days whenever you did the thing and reward yourself every couple of days when you don't break the chain? All of these are possible ways to make new habits easy and fun. And the last big tip I want to give you, keep it small. Again, I'm coming back to the regular average day. Start small. You can still step it up later. If you start with a minute of mindfulness and do that every single day, let's say while you're waiting for your morning coffee, you're doing yourself more good than deciding to meditate for 20 minutes every day and doing it once a month, or never. Or if you can sit down on the edge of your bathtub and take 5 deep breaths while the door is closed behind you. If that's the time you have with small kids at home, it's a better habit to establish than saying, I want to go to the yoga studio 3 times a week and then never going. Because the 5 deep breaths fit your life right now. And the yoga lessons halfway across town just may not. And that's totally okay. Please, don't beat yourself up for doing too little. We all do the best we can on any given day. And if you want to establish the regularity, take it slow first and see if it works for you and your life. And if it's very attractive to you and you can make it fun, easy, and regular, then that's the time when you want to take it to the next level. Or not. Maybe this level is exactly what serves you best, no matter what your best friend says or what your mom does. For me, for instance, long meditations just don't serve me in the morning. Instead of making me feel calm, they make me feel anxious. So I may occasionally do a longer meditation later in the day, but that's optional. In the morning, I do my 5 or 10 minutes that serve me, and then I move on to the next part of my morning ritual, coffee, which in my case is journaling or morning pages, a term coined by Julia Cameron in her book, The Artist's Way. If you check this out or Google the term, you'll find the instruction to write 3 pages. Personally, I do 2 because I just like it better when the date is always on the same page. So writing 3 pages, that doesn't resonate with me. That's how I recommend you adapt things to what works for you, especially for a morning ritual. See what serves you. And experiment a little. Develop your morning ritual, stick with it for a while, and then change it around if something doesn't feel right. Also, as we may be struggling with our morning ritual or another healthy habit, I find it helpful to remind myself what a gift this type of structure and stability in life truly is. We often tend to take it for granted, but this opportunity and ability to create habits and routines is not readily available to everybody. It's a privilege to be grateful for. Last but not least, please don't beat yourself up for not doing enough or for not doing it right. If you miss a day, just make a fresh start the next day, okay? And for a fresh start this morning, we are doing a little exercise. So get your pen and paper ready while I explain what we're doing. It's a 3-step process and a very good small morning ritual, especially if you don't want to get into the longer morning pages, the longer journaling I just described. I recommend you take 5 or 10 minutes for this exercise. Right now we're taking 5 minutes. Doesn't have to be in the morning, but it's definitely a good addition to any morning ritual. All right, here we go. You have your utensils ready? First step is a brain dump. Whatever is on your mind, let it come out. Don't filter, Don't judge yourself. Don't censor. Just write. Whatever comes to mind, thought, feeling, situation, dream from last night, doesn't matter. Just pour it out on the page. I'll give you a moment now to work on this step. Feel free to take more time when you do it on your own. We'll continue now. So when you feel that you've written enough, then you go to the next step. Step 2 is, what do you want to feel? What do you want to feel today? This is a new day. How do you want to show up today? What do you want to feel? Maybe it's one word. Maybe it's a little more. It can be anything. Maybe today you want to feel calm or confident, assertive, depending on what's on your schedule for the day. Give yourself a moment now to decide about your feeling for this day. And don't overthink it. Just write down what comes to mind. And then we'll move on to the crucial 3rd step. What do you need to think to feel that way? Let's say you want to feel calm. What's a thought that makes you feel calm? Maybe, I've got this. Everything will work out fine. Maybe it's something very specific. Let's say you want to feel assertive and confident. Maybe it's, I'm about to give an awesome presentation to my team. Or, I know what I'm talking about. I am an expert at this. Maybe something specific, something general. There's no right or wrong. It just has to work for you. So I can't tell you what your phrases are. Write down a few and see what really resonates with you. What do you have to think to feel that way? How did that feel? What did you come up with? And how are you going to use that to jumpstart your day? Maybe there's even a phrase you want to put on your phone as a reminder or on a sticky note for the day. If you do this little exercise regularly, it can turn into one of the healthy habits that help you a lot with having a good start to your day. And even with overcoming anxiety, make you feel more grounded within yourself and your life. I hope this was helpful. Happy habit building. And please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Micha. I hope everyone found that as useful as I did. You never know, man, be a morning person after all. But I gather we have had a question from the audience, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot. So do you have any tips for setting up your morning when you have children at home?
Yes. You probably don't want to get up even earlier. So I still think the important part is to start with outlining what does the typical day look like. Mm-hmm. And then really talking it through with your family if the kids are toddlers, that's too early, but if they're a little older, just talking it through is like, okay, not working on expectations, but having agreements. I would not be beyond little bribes. It's like, okay, that's perfectly fine, just having little stars when people do what there's a, like, this is your morning job, can you do that? And really establishing that, again, as a family tradition or as a little leadership board or something like that. And I think most kids, 5 is around the age when it starts where you can really assign those little tasks to kids and make it a game or a little competition. And then also probably remind your family that you also need me time. You may more find it later in the evening, depending on the age of your kids, but maybe you have a weekend morning ritual, a Saturday or Sunday morning ritual where you can say, not before 8 a.m. or something like that.
Fantastic, thank you. So it also sounds like in that situation, you'd be teaching your children to build their own habit blocks as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, just passing on the good techniques. Thank you. So now I'd like to share a story of one of our Jenza. As you'll hear in this video, Jenza's life has been transformed since she came to TR.
My name is Jenza, and I live in West Seattle, and I have been with Transitional Resources for 10 years now. Since I've been at Transitional Resources, my life has changed completely. Before I came to Transitional Resources, just before I came, I had been homeless in Seattle for 4 years. I lived in shelters, I slept under park benches for a while. You know, when you're homeless, it's kind of like, what do I do? Where do I go? How can I be? It was exhausting to be out there. I didn't have any friends. I was estranged from my family. I was humiliated. I didn't want people to know how I was living. I was really scared. I didn't know if they would love me. I didn't know if they were going to accept me. I thought this will be temporary. They're going to kick me out. I'd been on the street and I never thought that it would end. And so here it was. I had mental illness. I wanted mental health. And when I came to Transitional Resources, I got housing and I got the help that I needed. One of the things that I do in the morning is a short meditation. When I get out of bed, I come sit on the couch and I think about my day. I always put in my head, okay, what do I need to do today? Today's Tuesday. I need to go down to TR and pick up my medication. So I'm an early riser and I have a little dog, and the first thing I think of is she needs to get out. I can walk my dog down to TR. I get to visit my friends there, walk back home, or maybe take the bus. And I take care of my plants every day. I have a lot of plants. And I go check them and make sure they're okay. So I get dressed and wash my face and take care of my teeth, take a shower if I need it. I usually have jeans and a t-shirt, and that's how I'm comfortable. I make sure I'm clean. I make sure that I smell good. Personal hygiene is really important to me. When I was homeless, I couldn't always take a shower. Now that I'm getting so much better. I feel like in the mornings and in the afternoons, I have something to do. I do my art, making cards, or I grab my beads and set them up and do beading. It brings me a lot of joy to share things, especially my art. I think the thing that I'm most proud of after coming to Transitional Resources is that I made a home for myself, and I believe that it's beautiful, and I always wanted to have comfort. And since I've been at TR, I've found that I can live a good life, and I learned a lot of skills that have taken me far. I've worked really hard to get better. That was what Transitional Resources is all about, is helping you get well, helping you when you're in crisis. I love them.
Thank you to Jenza for letting us share your story. I love how Jenza's story really highlights that the safety and dignity that TR offers allows our clients to make new starts and cultivate routines and habits that bring them joy, control, peace, and connection. That's just one reason why we are so thrilled to be expanding our reach this year with the opening of the Yancy Street project. If you've been following our work, you know this is the culmination of many years of dreaming, hard work, and collaboration. I'm thrilled to give you a sneak peek of the building, which will open its doors late this summer. The Yancy Street project will be home to 44 residents who all get to make their own fresh start here at TR. Each resident will have their own studio apartment within a short walk of TR's main facilities, in addition to staffing right on site. The building will be a new beginning for individuals coming out of homelessness or residential treatment who otherwise wouldn't have access to permanent housing. At TR, they'll get to work with our treatment team to create a behavioural health plan that meets their needs and works in tandem with our housing and community support programs. And I'm particularly excited to announce that we now have a name. So the building is going to be Rise at Yancy Street. We cannot wait to keep you updated with this exciting project and the ways you can support the opening. You can start by making your gift today, which will support our Yancy Street project, Rise on Yancy Street, in addition to all of our ongoing work. Remember, you can make your gift in a few ways, which are displayed below. Every single contribution makes a real difference in our community, so thank you. And that brings us to the end of our morning program. Thank you for bearing with us during the technical difficulties, and we hope it has been a really valuable and inspirational start to your day. After this live stream, we'll be sending out a link of the recording in case you missed anything or want to share with others. Make sure that you check out those digital goodie bags and you can make these habits stick. And go get your coffee and cookie from Cafe Ladro. So thank you to Micha and to Darcel for joining me here this morning. And of course to our presenting sponsor, Verity Credit Union. And thank you once again for being a part of our community. Thank you and have a wonderful day.